give us one or two more vivid examples of this type of experience and how it feels to you as the traveler.
Well, after I became acclimated to that, and I must add that it took a number of times before I became halfway casual about the experience of out-of-body, and after several more visits to the doctor and totally convinced it was an hallucination, I began to experiment with it a little bit, and it wasn't until perhaps even a year later that I became totally convinced and more than convinced, sure, that it was not an hallucination. And this took place when on a late Saturday afternoon, I decided when this vibration started that I would simply roll out of my physical body and go visit this psychologist friend, which I did. It was very easy to roll out, and I went moving out above the house and across the treetops to about, some 4 or 5 miles distant. And as I did, I was searching, seeing it, and trying to observe from overhead where my friend's house was, and having, again, the aircraft experience and flying experience to see things from overhead. It wasn't too hard to spot, and I then made a diving swoop down into the back part of his yard, where I got down just in time to find my friend moving out of his house, hat and coat, and wearing a hat and coat, and heading for the garage, and his wife, dressed in very dark clothes, following him and holding some type of conversation. And I tried to attract his attention, and I could not. However, they got in, went to the garage, got in their car, and drove away. And I figured, well, no luck. I was unable to get a hold of him. I thought this would be a very interesting attempt at getting a validation of the real existence of this out-of-body state. So, rather sadly, I turned and wiggled my way back down the hill, over the trees, and back to my house, and got back in my body. That evening after supper, I reached my friend, my psychologist friend, by phone, and I asked him what he was doing about 4:30 in the afternoon. And he said, well, I'd been sick all day, and about 4:30, I got real tired of being sick, and I thought I'd go down into the town, down to the small town, and down to the store and get something, anything, he said, just to get out of the house. And my wife followed me. And I said, well, were you dressed in a hat? And I remember then a gray hat and an overcoat, and was your wife dressed in black and following you about 5 or 10 feet behind?